Hey y'all, how you doing? Happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good day today. So I want to talk to y'all really quick about emotional intelligence because I come across different situations with people who I feel are lacking in emotional intelligence before they say some of the things that they say to me. And a lot of stuff just be kind of spazzy to me, like a very spazzy comment. And it's typically from women. Granted, I've had men say crazy off the wall stuff to me before too. And I'm seeing that a lot of this stuff is emotional. They're emotional responses. Somebody could see something that I posted that they don't like or agree with, and before you know it, they're attacking me with something and falsely accusing me of something. Recently, I had two women do that to me. One on my YouTube channel and one on Instagram on one of the posts that I did about meat, dairy, and eggs causing illness and disease. I had a lady comment on one of my videos about Yahusha, knowing Yahusha and growing from the name Jesus Christ to Yahusha and knowing the Messiah and who he is and his bloodline, who he really was and is, right? And she left me this paragraph saying, oh, you think you're more spiritual, you're deeper and more spiritual than I am just because you use a Hebrew name. The first translation was this and that and yada, 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 woo, woo, woo. She was just saying all this stuff. And I'm like, how is it that I think I'm more spiritual just because I acknowledge his Hebrew name? To know a truth that someone doesn't know doesn't make someone more spiritually alert or aware. So that's not even logical to me. It wasn't a logical statement. Just because I know his Hebrew roots and I know that because I've taken the time to know that doesn't mean that I think I'm holier than thou, that I'm better than you or better than anyone else, better than someone who claims the name Jesus Christ instead of Yahushua HaMashiach, right? But I tried to explain to this lady, I said, when you want to get to know somebody, right? When you really want to get to know someone, who they are, what they're about, what do? You sit down, you have conversation with them. Okay, where are you from? What's your background? What's your genetic makeup? Especially if they got a certain look, some exotic look to them, right? You're like, oh, where are you from? What is your ethnicity, right? You have that curiosity, right? When you really want to know somebody and who they are, you learn their DNA. You learn their culture, their ethnicity. You learn all these things. You learn what makes them them. So why would you not want to pursue that with the person above all persons and ever in human flesh, Yahusha? Why would you not want to dig to the depths of who he is and who he was and where he came from and just his upbringing and what makes him him? Why would you not want to know that, right? So I had to tell this lady, just because you lack the desire to know who he is and what he's about, if you say you know him, you have a relationship with him, how do you not know these things about him? When you want to know the next person, you ask these things, you take the time to get to know somebody. So just because you lack that desire within yourself to know him on a deeper level, don't blame that on me. Don't project your insecurities onto me, the things that you refuse to do with your life and the Messiah that you claim. I have nothing to do with it, right? Nothing to do with that, right? Let's be logical. I have nothing to do with your lack of desire of knowing who the Messiah really is. That's your fault. So take that elsewhere and stop harassing me, okay? That's all I had to say to that. She hasn't said anything else. Then I had another lady recently where we've made a connection through social media. She shared with me some things about health because she has endured radiation cancer, unfortunately, and I guess is still battling with cancer. But I did a post about meat, dairy, and eggs before and how meat consumption wasn't healthy. And she was saying how she's tried veganism before and she got really sick and she wasn't healthy. And I want to say she said she almost died, but she was saying if you raise your meats or you raise the cattle a certain way without certain things like hormones, antibiotics and stuff like that, that your meat is actually healthier. And of course I have heard of that as well, but I have seen studies just in general refuting that very thing as well, right? Now granted, these studies aren't worldwide, they're not out in the public, people don't know this, right? But nonetheless, when I posted this post, I did think of her. I thought she might comment, but then I thought, why would she comment when we've already discussed this? Where she mentioned that she was vegan and pasta didn't work. I said, well, you a lot of people that I know that go vegan and get really sick, it's only because they're not, adamant about supplementing, making sure they're getting their vitamin D, their iron, their B12, and their protein intake. Me, I'm a holistic health coach, so I'm very adamant about taking my supplements and getting whatever it is that could be missing from meat, right? So I've been vegan for almost 7 years. I've been perfectly fine, no health issues, right? So I'm thinking we've already been there. We've already discussed this. So there's no need for her to say something yet again in reference to this very thing, right? But she just had to make a comment, right? And where I'm saying she lacked emotional intelligence in this, it was a paragraph that she wrote, but she led with, whether you know it or not, granted, I'm paraphrasing, whether you know it or not, you are assisting in the Antichrist agenda. And I was like, whoa. Skirt, pump your brakes, lady. Pump your brakes. Wait. Now, everything else you wrote after that doesn't even matter, because you literally just accused me of something so crazy, so far-fetched, just because I've learned through my holistic health studies that meat, dairy, and eggs cause cancer, which is a fact based on human studies. How does that automatically mean that I'm pushing this Antichrist agenda? And why on earth would you ever accuse me of such a thing when you know my relationship with the Most High? You know how I feel about my relationship with the Most High. That was really baffling to me. But I guess in her defense, she was saying, because Yah said, right? Yah did give us meat to eat, y'all. He did. However, I want to point this out because a lot of people don't know this. In the very beginning, the book of Genesis, the very first book, the very first chapter, Yah actually made us to be vegans. In Genesis 1:29-30, he said that he turned the man and said, to you, I gave you every tree and plant and seed of the earth, and to you it shall be for food. And he turned to the animals and said the exact same thing. So literally, man and animal was in perfect harmony with one another. It wasn't until after the fall of Adam and Eve when the meat consumption came into the world, because then man started sacrificing animals to make atonement for sins. They gave up a burnt offering to make atonement for sins. That's when meat came into the world. This is all in the book of Genesis, right? This is fact. This is not my opinion. It was just an interesting fact that I found out as I started reading the Bible and learning more, right? And I thought that was really interesting. And then she mentioned, though, how, Yah said these are certain things that are unclean, but here you are saying meat, dairy, and eggs cause cancer. So yes, of course, I'm talking about all of them. I'm like, baby girl, but this is what people isn't understanding. The meat of the word that Yah was talking about, the meat within the word, the meat is nothing like it was back in the day. Sure, you might be able to find, if you have your own cattle and you raise your own animals to be that way, all organic, you're not putting nothing tainted because you and your family are consuming that. But the average meat that you see out here, that's not what people are eating. They're not. It's all this store-bought stuff that is all about the dollar. They're pumping it with hormones. They're filling it up with injectable things, only God knows what they're like, some type of jelly, because right, your meat is weighed by the pound. So they're injecting meat, seafood's an unclean thing anyways, according to the word, but they're injecting it to make it fatter and plumper so it weighs heavier and they get more money out of you. But nonetheless, this was the comment that the lady left with me, and I'm thinking, like, again, yes, y'all gave us meat to eat. And he says not to judge anyone based upon what they should eat or should not eat. And never have I. Some people, I've had people eat around me. They'll be eating meat and then they'll apologize, like, oh, I'm sorry, Crystal. And I'm like, no, you don't have to apologize to me. You didn't do anything wrong. You have a right to eat what you want. So I don't judge anybody based upon what they do or do not eat. However, when the facts come to the surface, and these are studies based on human studies that you actually have to go and pull out of these journals because they're not pushed into the world. So for her to say it's an Antichrist agenda, like, sis, if it was an Antichrist agenda, it would be talked about by everyone. If it was a lie, it would be pushed out there for everyone to know. But very few people know this because they're not doing the deep dives in the peer-reviewed journals. They're not out there digging deep into these scientific studies and bringing the facts to the surface. And through my trainings, this is facts based on human studies that have been pulled out of studies that aren't being spoken about. Okay? Antichrist agenda is massively pushed and operated just like you see these pagan holidays and man-made traditions, right? It's an Antichrist thing because it literally has nothing to do with Yah, the Bible. And he says to stay away from it in Deuteronomy 12:29-32. So for this person to say that I'm pushing an Antichrist agenda because I'm sharing the facts about today's world, today's meat, today's animal consumption, that meat, dairy, and eggs cause cancer. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. And this is a type of lack of emotional intelligence I be talking about. A lot of people see things that they don't like. You see something online that you don't agree with. Instead of just saying, oh, I don't agree with that, or, oh, that's crazy. You could look at it, but, oh, that's crazy. And you could decide to keep scrolling. Like, you don't have to comment and give your input on everything that you disagree with. But for people to go as far as to say that the things that they say with no backing, I'm like, how did you get to that? Okay, so first example, the lady saying, I feel like I'm got a better relationship, I'm deeper spiritually than she is. I never said that. Yes, I say to dig deeper, but in the aspect of learn the truth. Why would you just stop right here at Jesus Christ when you could dig deeper and find Yahushua HaMashiach, right? You could find that, oh, he's actually a black man. He's not whitewashed Jesus with brown hair and blue eyes. He's a Hebrew man, right? That's not my fault. Dig deeper. I'm not saying I'm more spiritually stronger than you, but if you feel like I am, that's on you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I never said that. But your lack of spiritual depth or lack of learning and knowing the truths about the Messiah is not my fault. So don't project your securities onto me. That's your fault. That is your job to do if you care to really know that, to have that relationship with the Messiah like you claim. All right. It's not my fault if you don't know who he is at the root, his DNA, his heritage, and what he came up in his bloodline. It's not my fault if you don't know that. Right. So that's out of line, and it's a lack of emotional intelligence. You're just emotionally stirred up, so you're just saying things that aren't even logical, right? Second situation, I'm pushing Antichrist agenda. Oh, because you disagree with what I said about meat, dairy, and eggs, failing to realize that the meat that Yah gave us, the meat that he talks about in the word, it is not the meat of today. It's completely different. Back then, the meat was pure and it was clean. Today, this meat is tainted. It's full of junk, things that are hazardous. Like when the cattle out here with cancer, tumors, they're not cutting that meat. They're not looking for that. You're getting meat with that in it. And everything that animal has consumed and all the sickness that animal has felt, you think they're worried about that? Nah, that's why they give them antibiotics, though. And then you're eating that stuff as well. And that's toxic to your health. But what do I know, right? But this is the lack of emotional intelligence I'm talking about. At the end of the day, you have a right to feel how you feel. You have a right to feel any type of thing. Even if it's not a logical feeling and you're just in your feelings about something, you still have a right to that feeling. It's still valid because you still feel it. So your feelings are valid. However, when you allow your emotions to dictate your responses to people, then you have some emotional intelligence that you need to work on. You have to strengthen your emotional intelligence, because your emotions can have you running off, saying crazy things out the mouth to people, being, like, personally, I feel like that's blasphemous against me to say I'm part of an Antichrist agenda. Like, that is so crazy to me, and it's highly disrespectful and rude. It's tacky and it's distasteful, and that type of behavior I do not tolerate anywhere within my space, in my life, on my social medias. I give nothing but respect to people, and I expect nothing but respect in return. And in the event that you cannot do that, is in the event that I need to separate with you and to dust my hands off. Now, when that comment was left on a post on my business page, it was all up for all of 2 to 3 minutes. I saw it and I was just like, oh Lord, here she go. I just slide to the left and deleted it, right? Didn't say nothing, not worth my energy, right? I got things to do. I'm busy. I'm going back to living my life. But few minutes later, she must have looked back and she unfollowed me on both accounts. Okay, bye. Good riddance. This is the second time she's unfollowed me. See, that's the type of emotional instability that's what I'm talking about. Y'all got to get your emotions together. At the end of the day, just because you feel something doesn't mean you're right. Feelings aren't facts. That's what you need to understand at the end of the day. Feelings aren't facts. You can't let your feelings control everything, control how you interact with people. That's how you push people away. And then these people are supposed to be in Yahuwah. It's like you're in him, but this is the type of the behavior and the ways that you act towards people, the things that you say to people, the false accusations, y'all. It's like, it's honestly, it's high school. It's immature. And again, it won't be tolerated within my space. So come with respect and give respect, or please do keep your mouth shut, closed, whatever, in reference to me. All right. Give the love that you want to receive in return. And if you want that mutual respect, I'll never disrespect you. One, I'm not going to disrespect somebody just because they failed to respect me, but I will cut you off because I do not tolerate disrespect, and I don't think anyone should. Granted, do we have to forgive people? Yes, you have to forgive each and every single one who has sinned against you. That's Bible, that's word. However, forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation, all right? So just be mindful of that. Word of encouragement. Take care.